Hey, this is Robert at Goozy Fabrication. Like, subscribe. I need your comments. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so we're on the 61 Impala. Really common problem, rust at the bottom of the doors. This video is geared towards you DIY guys and gals working at your projects at home. I'm going to walk you through these steps on how to repair this. Yeah, this one isn't bad, but we're going to have to cut the entire bottom section of the door off and replace it. And we're going to be replacing it with these. Now, these are panels that they go up probably a quarter of the way through the door. We're probably not going to do that much. Hopefully they fit. Number one, we're using some acetone. Wear gloves. Clean that off. That's why there's a lot of grease or oil inside of that to keep it from rusting from the factory. Okay, we're going to be removing the door, so this will make your life easier when you go to put the door back on, reinstall the door. Okay, let's get this thing off. And there it is. Okay, we got a better shot of what we're up against. Yeah, just a lot of ugly. And there it is. Okay, so we're just going to overlap our replacement panel. And I'm going to use some soapstone to show you where this replacement panel would fall. And there's a couple of reasons why I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Okay, so I've marked out what we need to cut off. Now, if I cut here, well, we're going to have to weld that entire length of the new panel on. So we're just going to cut what we need to cut off. And sometimes the panels don't line up correctly, so that's a big deal. Okay, so we're going to start by removing this inner brace. These are resistance welds. We want to make sure we drill out the center of the resistance weld. Otherwise, it's going to be a big mess. Don't want that. Seen that movie before. And we have some more resistance welds we need to drill out. Okay, let's start cutting this bad section out. And hey, you're going to see me use a lot of tools. Well, I have a professional shop. You may not have all of these tools, but they can be replaced with other types of tools to do the same job. So don't be discouraged if you don't have all of the tools that you see, or you can go buy them. Harbor Freight's a really good, inexpensive place to get tools like this. Okay, so we're separating and cutting. And now we've got that lower section out. Yeah, here comes the rust. Okay, so that's on the inner brace there. And we don't want to cut through that. We want to take care. So here's what we're working with. Yeah, cutting it this way saves a lot of time. Okay, now we want to pay attention to these little tabs. These are part of the outer door skin. We want to retain those. We don't want to just cut them off. So we're going to be careful. We're going to reuse those. Now this skin is crimped onto the inner structure, and we're going to have to clearance that so we can get the remnant of that inner structure out of that door skin. And if you take your time, hey, it's not going to be an issue. Okay, so we've clearanced it a little slightly. Now we can get a start of pulling it out. And there it comes. That easy. If you don't clearance it, yeah, good luck. Okay, this is a Fender dolly hammer, and this is just a small nail bar. That's what I use to do that with. And once it's all been clearanced, hey man, it'll just come right out relatively easy. A little stubborn. Okay, now if you're patient and you take your time, you don't have to worry about damaging the door skin. Hey, and I'm making these videos for you DIY guys and gals so that you can save a ton of money. If you have a welder, some hand tools, and you can borrow or buy some tools, you can do this yourself. Okay, so this is a little mini spot blaster. We're going to take care of this rust. Going to get it in there as much as possible. Hey, no, it's not perfect, but you can't do it without replacing the door skin. I'm using POR 15. Going to brush that on. And we're going to do the inside of the door skin. We're going to jam as much of the POR 15 in the little fold over there as much as we can. And POR 15 is an encapsulator. It just keeps the rust, or keeps the metal from oxidizing. Okay, we're going to lay out for the piece that we cut out. And we want to be a little generous. We want to give ourselves some trim room. This is just the first cut. Yeah, if we cut off too much, yeah, bad time. Okay, let's go. Okay, we have what we need. And now this is a hole punch. Instead of drilling it, it makes life a little bit easier. That's for our reinforcement bracket attached to the inner door skin, or structure, I should say. Okay, now we're going to start fitting and cutting. And that's what we have at the moment. You can see our plug well holes in the front, and we're just going to overlap it for the moment in the rear. And we are going to get it clamped into place. You can also use self-tapping screws to hold this where you need it. Going to bring out our little spot blaster. And that's the best way I've found to do plug welds. Area is totally clean down to bare metal. Now, usually I use a TIG welder. Most of you have a MIG at home, so that's what we're going to use. And we're just going to anchor this front section, and we're going to move to the rear after we clamp the center braces. And we've overlapped our rear. And we're going to make our first cut. Now I'm using a really thin cutoff wheel. You don't want to use a thick one. And we're going to get that squeezed down into place. A little 60 grit flap wheel, prepping the edge. Okay, we're going to get our final placement. Now it's all flush, not overlapping any longer. And we're going to get an anchor weld here. That's going to set it into place. Move our clamp. And now we're in the welding phase. Okay, so this replacement panel, it's not made exactly like the door skin, so we're doing a little bit of forming here and fitting. We want that as close as possible. We want a really nice job. Using a little spot blaster to clean it up so we can start welding. Yeah, we don't want to weld over paint or anything like that, primer. And we just take our time. Wire wheel off after we've welded a little bit. Keep everything straight. Make adjustments. And we want to be thinking about how much weld we want to put on, because we're going to be dressing this down. We want to do a metal finish. We don't want any valleys or anything like that in it. Big gouges. We want to do a really nice quality job. And so we're starting out with a little grinding wheel, and then moving to a flat disc, and then a different type flat disc. And we're keeping our angles right when we're grinding, so we don't grind troughs or anything. And if you do everything correctly, finishing it off with a little DA, hey, you can get a metal finish. If there's any imperfections, a nice coat or two of primer will take care of that. And it is the inside of a door, so now we want to make sure that that's seated, because we're going to be reusing these little tabs that we saved earlier. And we're just going to get those welded into place. Hey, everything's looking really good. And we don't want to forget our little brackets that tie this section to the inside of the door. Let's see what we've done here. Hey, I'm really happy with that. And I just want to encourage all of you, you can do this. Take your time. Use some forethought. You absolutely can repair your vehicles at home and your projects. And to finish it all off, after we prime this, we're going to come back with some seam sealer, put it in the seam. Hey, thanks to all our subscribers, followers, share the video. As always, thank you for watching.